Hello, welcome back. This is another Rolemaster Classic played on Fantasy Grounds Classic using Dakadin's updated rule set, version 2. Today we're going to do maps and images. When I looked at what was going to be involved here, it's quite a long video, so look in the description. I've broken down different sections by time. Just click on the link that you want to hear. Few basic guidelines before we get started. First of all, there's going to be a number of jump cuts where I've probably made a mistake or just wanted to cut out too much waffle. Also, you need to know a number of guidelines that Smiteworks recommend. Maps, dimensions maximum should be 2048 by 2048. JPEG, no more than 2 meg in size, 2 megabytes in size. They say that 50 to 60 pixels per inch is a good idea for maps, and that most battle maps will really range between 1200 by 1200 up to 1800 by 1800. So let's just do a quick basic one. Go to Maps and Images. By the way, I pared down a number of the icons here just so I've got the bare minimum. Maps and Images. You might have gone to the store to buy them. They'll all be in here. You might have a campaign that you've bought, which will be in here for the drop down. And anything new you've created should be in the new. I'm just going to go to the folder and then go and find what I want. So I'll click on Folder. That'll bring up a standard browser for what you're looking for. This is the actual folder that it's going to be in. I'm just going to go off the screen here and go to where I keep a certain map. Found it, just going to Control C or copy it whatever device you're on, or drag it across, copy to here, click on that, close my other browser window down. Then if I now close that, you'll see it's appeared there. Then what you do is you'd open it up, resize it. Remember, you can use the Control key and the left hand mouse button just to resize what you want. Go to your combat tracker, drag on the icons you want. Now before you do that, they'll not be auto scaled, so at a bare minimum put a grid on it. So we'll do a bit more finesse with the grid in a little while, but I'm just going to use the mouse wheel to roll in, right hand click, layer, set the square grid, and then put it in here. And that'll put a grid on it. Now it's not perfect, we'll show you later on how to do that properly. Then drag your tokens on from the combat tracker. Here's Bob, here's Virula, and then here's your foe. So here's a llama leader. Okay, and then they can click, left click, off they go, fighty. That's it basically done. Oh yeah, sorry, better share it with them. Right hand click, sharing, click on share sheet, then anybody who's playing will get a copy of this sheet to move around themselves. So that's the basics done. But like we said in previous videos, there's far more to it than that. So let's start with sizing. So I'm going to delete all the icons first, just by right hand clicking on any icon, saying delete token, and I can delete that particular token or all the tokens, so I'm going to delete them all. I'm also going to get rid of the grid, so layers, grid off. Using the mouse wheel to come back out again. Let's show you some sizing. Right hand click, resize image. Do a little toady little one, little small one here, just in case you've got a problem with your screen real estate. And then again, you can left hand mouse click with the control down to resize that as you wish. You can also get it to its original size. Just going to make it a bit big here, but we'll do that. Resize image, original size. Okay, but a bit too big. I've chosen it on purpose. And by the way, this piece of art here is not mine. It's by Saving Throw and DeviantArt.com. Haven't asked for permission, I've just used it, so sorry Saving Throw if you're a bit annoyed by that. I'm going to resize this image, so I'm going to go back again to resize, and then I'm going to set it to small size again. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit just so I can show you some of the resizing. So right hand click, resize image, adjust horizontal or vertical. Adjust vertical, that holds the width but changes the height based on the image. Let's put it to small size again, bring it out a little bit. Right hand click, resize, and adjust horizontal keeps the height but adjusts the width based on the image. That's your resizing. If you want to move around the map, so let's make this a little bit smaller, you can either use the little widget down here, or you can click your wheel in and hold it, or your middle button, and drag around to move it around. You can zoom it in and out with the wheel, and that's about it for moving. Pointers, so let's make this a little bit bigger. Come in a bit. So pointers, right hand click, pointers. Draw an arrow. Click, hold, draw it out, let go. The end of the arrow is how you can then move it around, resize it again. And the base of the arrow is how you move the arrow itself. Another pointer. The square, left hand, drag out. You can use the middle of the square to move it around, and then the handle on the side to make it bigger or rotate it. And the rest of them are roughly the same idea. So circle, right hand click, pull out. This outside one makes it bigger, and this inside one moves it. And then finally the cone. Any kind of like elemental effect, I suppose, or torch effect. Drag it, pull it out. End of it makes it bigger, smaller, rotates it, and then the base of it moves it. There you go. Now, if you want to get rid of a pointer, right hand click on it. Pointers, delete that particular pointer, or you can just right hand click, pointers, remove all the pointers, and they're all gone. Let's show you drawing. Right hand click, draw menu, enter drawing mode. This is for maybe annotations, or if you've got a blank white image you want to be able to draw on. That will appear on the client. Sometimes there's a bit of a delay. If you make a mistake, you just right hand click, draw menu, erase a stroke, and then just like you do when you do a mask, you just left hand click, draw a blue selection around what you don't want, and then let go. You'll get rid of that. If you want to get rid of the whole thing, right hand click, draw menu, clear the drawing. One other item that's on there, the draw menu, is to lock the drawing layer, because at the moment any player can draw on this layer. If you lock the drawing layer, only you can. So I've got the top here, go into drawing mode. They can't draw. Right, just unlock that. Can I get rid of all this again? Drawing, clear. And by the way, I'm using the icons up here as a quick way of using the menus around here, where you can just go to draw menu, exit drawing. Let's show you layers. First one I think is quite a nice one, is the Goto function. So go to this Goto function. This will show you a smaller image of the whole map, and then you can choose where you want to go to. So at the moment you can't see on the image behind here the watering area. Click on that, takes you there. Nice little feature that. Now, like we did earlier, let's set a grid. So I'm going to use the mouse wheel to zoom in, right hand click, layers, set a square grid. Oh, by the way, let's just do that quickly. Right, you can right hand click, you can change the grid type to a hex based one. Okay, just going to get rid of the grid. Right, so layers, let's change it to squares, and then let's actually set the grid. And let's try and get it close, but it won't be brilliant. There's 58, let's zoom back out, see how it is. Using the middle mouse button to come in. Actually, it's pretty good. But I'd be happy enough with that because I'm not a perfectionist. But just in case you had screwed it up, go into this one up the top here. Toggle grid toolbar. And now what you can do is you can move the grid left and right or in and out. So I'll click it once. Actually, it's come in a bit so you can see what's happening. Click it left, moves it to the left. I don't know if that's good or bad. And then also if you click on a minus, makes it smaller, bigger. But I'm going to keep that anyway. Why do you put a grid on it? Well, you put a grid on it because now it'll measure distances. Because each of these grids is 5 feet. That's now telling you how much that is. When you put icons on, it'll automatically try and auto-scale it to the grid. Sorry, not icons, I should say tokens. So a good thing to have. I'm just going to put a token on there. Let's grab Bob. Put Bob on there. Zoom in a bit. Now, at the moment, when you look at layers, we've got it to snap to grid at the moment, so we'll toggle it off. But the reason for that is look, we can just put him slightly in the grid, let go, and he'll snap in, or you can just snap into the middle. But if I right hand click layers and take that off, snap grid off, means you can put him any little way you like. So I'll put it back on because I don't know why you would take that off, but maybe you would like that for a bit more granularity. Other things is a GM would put maybe little pins in here, little shortcuts, to tell you what's going on each of those, and then you can share those pins. Sometimes you just want to disable those altogether. So right hand click, layers, disable all the shortcuts. That leaves us now to the next big piece, which is masks. So I'm going to put both the players on here. I'm also going to put in a llama leader who is just here. And then we'll put a llama warrior. Oops, grabbed the wrong bit. Put a llama warrior just in the corner here. Now, right hand click, layer, add a mask. Mask is like a fog of war. If I now right hand click and then share this with Virula, if we look on Virula's client here, you can see complete fog of war. Go back to the GM client, we're in masking mode. If I draw with just the left hand mouse button, I can draw a triangle, let go, and it'll uncover that. If you look on Virula's, eventually it'll come through and show you what she can see. If you shift click, what you can do is you can then draw out what you can see. So I'm shift clicking here, drawing a little bit round here about what they can see. Let go. That's what they can now see. If you make a mistake, just control and click. Let go. It'll fill it back up again. If you want to come out of mask mode, you can see it's got an eye on the symbol there. Just right hand click, layers, mask edit off, or you can just go up to the toolbar, click on the mask edit button again to toggle it off, and now you're out of mask mode, so you can move the thing around, for example. Move the image around, I should say. And if you want, you can remove the mask just by right hand clicking, layers, delete the mask, and it'll all go. So that's enough for masks at the moment, for layers. Let's move on to tokens. So I'm just going to mouse wheel in here. As I said earlier, if there's no grid, the tokens don't know what to auto center to, what to auto size to, so they just come in at the token size that you created the graphic file in. You can set that option to auto scale by going into the options, going down to token GM, and you'll see here auto scale to grid, 80% of grid or 100% or off. The scaling is a bit weird in Fantasy Grounds, and maybe Dakadin at some point can drop me a note and tell me where I'm going wrong, and I can do an addendum video to this. But I find that the scaling on this is very odd. I mean, I can show you an example. If I say auto scale 80% of grid, if I take this off and go to the combat tracker and add in a llama that's not there already, so llama 4 for example, and drop it in, it scales in anyway. You can disable all these scales just by right hand clicking, going to unlock zoom, and then they're all slightly big at 100% again. I'll take llama 5, oops, keep getting the wrong one, grab llama 5, drop that in, it's that size. Lock the zoom up again, get 6, drop it in, go into the options, set it to 80%, we'll get rid of 5 for a second by right hand clicking on the token, saying delete token, delete that token, put 5 back in again, snapped it in, but I mean these are much bigger, these tokens. Sorry that's a bit confusing, but that's just showing you where it is at the moment. So forget about scaling for a second, let's pare this back a bit, let's just delete some of these. So I'm going to right hand click, delete all the tokens, go back here, drag on Bob, drag on Virula I should say, bring on the llama leader, and then llama warrior 1, just pop them around the corner again. Let's talk about facing. So if I use the mouse wheel while my pointer's over a token, I can show the facing. Now sometimes you don't want to move the actual graphical part, but just show facing. That's another option under token GM. And it says facing indicator, just turn that on, and then you'll have little arrows, so now you can show which way the person's actually looking. Turn that off again. Rather than messing around with scales, I think, say llama leader was a bit large, I would actually use the control key in the mouse wheel to use the scaling. Make them quite big. And then if you want the reach to change, there's another video, in fact the upcoming video, on the combat tracker. But on combat tracker you can mess around with reach by, who's this llama leader? Go to this one here where it says space and reach, and change it. So reach from 5 to 10. And then this one's got a big reach. Handy little thing, by the way, on the combat tracker or in a character sheet, double click on the token. Let's close this map down a second. If you double click on a token, if it's on an active map at the moment, it will go straight to that map. Double click on Bob, it shows you where Bob is. Just use the middle mouse button to recenter that. Same from a character sheet, you can do the same. Also if you use a GM, you can double click on the token. Another thing you can show is visibility. Let's assume Virula casts a presence spell. So even though she doesn't know the lay of the land here, she knows there's a presence of a creature in the other room. If I right hand click on Llama Warrior 1 and then go to visibility, I can say, look, you're always visible. Set visibility on, and now Virula will see that llama come up, even though it's in the fog of war. And then let's imagine then that llama leader casts an invisibility spell. The opposite can be true, so you can right hand click visibility, set always invisible, and now they've popped. So if we go back to Virula's client, you should now be able to see that llama leader has disappeared and llama warrior 1 has appeared. Little bit about locking tokens. You as a GM can move them whenever you like, but in Virula's screen, if we move Virula, we've locked her token, so she can't move unless you accept the move. So you right hand click on the token and then say accept the move, they'll move. Going back to Virula's screen as well, so say you want to do a little bit more of a trickier move, you can go to here. That's if you go to the end and get the square up again, you can pull that square down a bit more and round a bit. Just each time you let go, just click on the little square, let go, click on the square, let go, and then you right hand click and accept the move on the GM screen. Another little tip is, say you've done the move to here, and you, oh hang on, no, I don't want to do that move. Right, rather GM just resetting it, what you can do, if you just move your token again, but move it and then put it back in exactly the same spot, that cancels that move. When you're locked, by the way, the actual clients, if you're on Virula's screen here still, can't actually do any rotation. So I right hand click, there's no delete tokens, there's no rotate left or right, and I can't use my mouse wheel. If I go to the GM screen and unlock that, unlock tokens, and then right hand click now, I can rotate right and left, and I can delete tokens. And other things as well, you can delete other people's tokens doing this. Let's move on to selection mode, so back on the GM screen. Doesn't seem to work particularly well. The best way to work is just click once on who you want to be the targeter, then control click on what you want to target. So he's targeting Virula here. Just show you that in the combat tracker to make sure you understand. There, targets Virula. And assume that he could see through his invisibility spell. He can make a second target once with control click. Now there's 2 targets there. And if you want to untarget somebody, just control click back on that target again. And it untargets him. Now there is other kinds of targeting, but I can't seem to get it to work. I'll show you. So target mode here, click on this. This is Bob trying to target Virula. Just selects her. You can do it through the radial menu as well. So right hand click, go to selection modes, go to token select mode, click on Bob, and right hand click, selection, target token, and then try and click on this. It doesn't, it just selects them. So maybe that's something that needs to be fixed at a later update. And knowing Dakadin, he probably knows it already. Alright, that leads us to sharing. Right hand click we know about, go to sharing. You can share the sheet with your players. One thing I highly recommend is preloading the images you think you're going to use that session. It'll take a lot longer for them to log in and download a load of stuff, but it means the session itself will move a lot smoother. And the last thing I want to show you here is syncing and locking. So you can synchronize what you can see on your GM screen and force the clients to see what you want to see. So I'm going to zoom right into that and then say, well actually look at what Virula can see at the moment. And then if I say sync, and by the way, sometimes it doesn't update straight away. I actually have to do sync twice. I don't know if that's a problem with my slow connection where I am, or if it's just a little feature, but I do it twice. And then you look now on Virula's screen, look, it's forced it to that. And then what you can do is you can then right hand click on the GM screen, go to sharing, and then say lock the client view. So client view now, they can still drag their map around, but even if it's got uncovered areas, it's not going to show you them. So you see it's just, that's all it's got is that area at the moment, even though they should be able to see more. Now if I go back to the GM screen and unlock it by going sharing, unlock the client view. If you go to Virula now and move her around, look, you can see now, she can see a lot more that you couldn't see before. And that's it for maps and images. Next video is combat tracker. Going to look into that in a lot more detail. Cheers. Thanks. Bye-bye.